Hey there, welcome to this live stream. My name is Sherry Rothwell, if you're new to this group. And I just want to welcome you here for this live stream. This one is actually quite, it's just kind of a last minute thing. Normally I try to do at least one live stream in this group every week. And I do have something on the roster that I put out a week or so ago that I will be covering. And it does really have to do with the concept of what is your fat trying to tell you. If it could speak, what would your fat say? That's the next live stream that I'm going to be doing. But this one today, what I wanted to do was cover this idea of ways that you can lose weight that have nothing to do with diet or exercise, and also the relationship between how your weight might be holding you back in life and in your business. So the reason why I am doing it impromptu without planning is because I'm actually doing a live talk tomorrow. And I'm really used to doing like 3-hour classes or like 1-hour live streams, and I have 20 minutes to do a talk. So I'm going to be setting the timer here on my, let's see, on my phone to see if I can actually do a talk in 20 minutes. So this is a good challenge for me. All right. Okay. So I'm going to begin this talk with sharing you a little bit about my story and how I got started on this path to looking at how emotional weight can be the trigger for physical weight. So about, let's see, 5 years ago now, I literally woke up obese. Okay, so my self-concept in life was not as a thin person, but an average weight person. I had put on some weight after having babies that I had never lost, and I just kind of accepted that I would always be about 20 pounds. Like I was about 155 on a 5'3" 3/4" frame. And I was not considered overweight, but I was at the top end of maybe what would be considered normal. So I had kind of accepted that. But one day I literally woke up 176 pounds. Now, interestingly, just prior to this, I had made a decision that I was going to use video in my business. And I had this feeling that I would, if I were to go hard on video, I would be successful in business because I could be so much more visible and get in front of the right people who needed the services that I offered. So I went to a video marketing workshop weekend thing in Vegas. And I was walking past the mirror and I looked at my reflection and thought, wow, like this hotel food must be like really bad because I look so bloated. I almost look pregnant, right? It didn't quite occur to me yet that I was actually had gained a whole bunch of weight, right? Again, because my self-concept was not as a obese person, I didn't see myself as that, even if I walked past the mirror. And you might notice this as someone, maybe if you are obese, you have trouble having a self-concept of ever seeing yourself thin. And that can be one of the emotional mindset blocks that can stand in the way of actually letting go of the weight. So anyhow, I get to my mom's house. This is after the workshop. I don't have a scale, so I have no idea what I weigh. But every once in a while I check when I'm at my mom's. And I got on the scale and it literally said 176 pounds. I felt the blood rush from my internal organs to my extremities. Like I literally went into fight or flight. I was so shocked that I was 176 pounds. I went and sat down at the dinner table with my parents, and it was like I was in a movie where you hear like the cartoons going wah, 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 when somebody's heard some like crazy news that they're just like, they're reeling, right? This is what's happening to me. I get home that night. My cousin posts a picture of me and herself and my brother on the couch with my grandpa, I think. I am so embarrassed about how I look that I literally untag myself from the photo. And I literally went into this like deep journey of trying to figure out what on God's green earth had caused me to suddenly gain, like in less than 2 months, 21 pounds. And obviously I'm standing here at 128, 130 pounds. So 5 years later, obviously I figured it out. And there's a lot of different things that have to do with the physiology of the body that have to do with food and everything. And of course, I cover that in other live streams and workshops and things like that. But today what I want to talk about is the emotional weight that we carry and how that can actually trigger weight gain. So basically what happens is when you have chronic stress in your life, you trigger cortisol. you go into a high state of stress and your cortisol goes up, and that actually can trigger high insulin. Okay. Also, you can do it the other way around. You can stimulate cortisol with high insulin by eating like a high sugar diet, for example. However, it doesn't matter what the stress is that's in your life. It can be things like not necessarily, sorry, I'm just looking over at my notes because normally I just talk free flow, but because I'm doing a 20-minute talk and I got to get this down, I want to make sure I stay on track. Okay. So basically, like, there can be different stressors that you have that are chronic in your life. They can be emotional stress and they can be physical stress, right? So, we have things like environmental toxins. That can be a chronic stress. What if you are working in a salon or something as an esthetician or a hairdresser, and you're constantly being exposed to toxins? And some of those could be xenoestrogens, which are screwing up your hormones and making it impossible for you to lose weight. You could have exposure to sugar or hydrogenated fat, processed foods, and have nutrient deficiencies because of that. Those nutrient deficiencies are going to put your body in a state of chronic stress. It's actually going to hold on to fat in response to that. Toxic relationships. Okay, is there? You wake up every single morning and there's some sort of conflict that you have in your life. That's going to be a chronic state of stress. Maybe you're not getting bonding. Okay, you're not actually having connection in your life. We need connection to be happy, to be whole, to experience our life and feel a sense of relaxation, that all is well. Disliking your occupation, right? A lot of you probably are either entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs. Okay. And so either the work that you're doing now is you're at a day job and you wish you were actually making a living doing what you love, or maybe you already started a business, but you're struggling. And all of these things become chronic stresses in our life. Maybe you're disorganized. Okay, maybe you feel like you don't have enough time. These are typical human environmental conditions that we experience chronic stress on a consistent basis, can be sometimes all day, every single day. And in that state, you're going to have high cortisol. And with high cortisol, you have high insulin, and that throws off your hormones. And you don't actually get to burn fat. Okay, when your insulin is high, this will stop you from being able to burn fat. So, some of the work that I do is to work with the diet and lifestyle. But this Weightless program, this is the free group that you're a part of right now. This group is all about losing more than just the weight. So using your journey of letting go of the physical weight as a catalyst to transform your whole entire life. So if you want to learn just, the diet, detox, etc., the lifestyle of how to lose weight, you can go and learn more in another video or message me or something about my Delish diet. Okay. It gives you that. However, the Weightless program is about using the journey as a catalyst to change your life. And so in this talk, you're going to learn about some of the different things that people may be holding on to, maybe yourself, okay, that will stop you from being able to let go of the physical weight because of this emotional weight. Your body is trying to speak to you. So if your fat could talk, what would it say? These are some of the things that your fat might be screaming at you, that actually you can address these at the same time as you go on your weight loss journey, and then you get to transform your entire life rather than just, losing the weight, because at the end of the day, losing weight is not going to change your life, or being skinny is not going to change your life. It's the other stuff that you do when you lose all of that, everything that holds you back, so you can live your optimal life experience and live to your fullest potential. So I'm going to walk you through 7 things that you may be carrying in your life that are emotional weight, that I encourage you to, have a journal and a pen beside me, even if you just write down the questions so that you can go and look at this later. Actually, I'm going to post the questions once I'm finished this. I'm going to actually, I'll put them up on top of the post so that you can sit with them in your journal and see if some of these things could be reasons why you can't lose the weight, despite maybe you didn't change anything in your life. Maybe you have been eating the same stuff that you always ate, but for some reason now you're gaining weight, but before you weren't. or, you just know that your emotion or your physical weight has something to do with your emotional weight. And it's sort of come on in this time of life where you're stressed out, or you're, going towards the age of 40 or beyond, and experiencing this hormonal imbalance. This stress is what causes that hormonal imbalance. Okay. Of course, there are diet and lifestyle things. And of course, that's also included in the Weightless program. And I go into that in detail. But in today's training, I'm just going to stick with the emotional stuff. So number one, are you carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders? Okay. I know that there's been many times in my work where I felt more responsible than I could ever be for someone else's well-being, right? Like, I cannot walk into your house and, like, hold your hand through my programs, for example, right? Like, I would love to be there to be like, when you have a craving, stand beside you and go, okay, no, let's cook this other thing that's going to, like, heal that craving and stop it at the root cause. So you don't have to keep, trying to use willpower to stop eating foods that are harming your body. I would love to be able to do that, but I can't. Okay. Or just feeling that intense. I used to be a doula. Okay. And it was so hard for me to not take home the experience of going into the hospital and watching a mother go through something traumatic. Okay. So I would carry the weight of the world on my shoulders. I was not able to detach from, in a positive way. We obviously want to have empathy for people in our lives and the experiences that they're going through and be there for them, but not so bad that we're actually taking their weight on, right? Other people make choices in their lives, and that's, dictates the outcomes that they get. And there's no way as a coach, and I'm sure a lot of you in this group are coaches, could ever, you want to, right? You want to support your clients and you want to just make it happen for them, but you can't. You can only just be there for them. And a lot of us go into this work really not knowing how to let people get empowered on their own, just standing there supporting them, but not actually being pulled into their drama, right? You have to actually have empathy for people, not sympathy. Because if you have sympathy for people, you're actually affirming that what they're saying, their excuse, their trouble is actually true. And it's not. Okay? There's always a way out. And we're going to be talking about this more. So I was carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders with my work. So number two, are you carrying more than your fair share of the work around the house or at work? Okay, so maybe you have a partner that is very traditional and doesn't actually do any cooking or cleaning. And you're stuck doing all of that and you're running a business at the same time. And that's really stressful. Okay, or maybe you're in a partnership and the other person that you're with is not as engaged in the work and you're feeling resentful around that. Or at your place of employment, same thing. Maybe, you're doing more than other people and they're getting paid the same as you. And that's, draining you and causing you to lose energy. Number three, you're in a partnership that feels like dead weight. Okay. And you feel like you're dragging that person forward with you. Okay. This is relationship stuff, right? As you grow and change, there's going to be people in your life that are not resonating with that anymore. And it's going to feel really like, you're carrying the burden of the relationship. You're growing, you're trying to encourage them to grow with you, but they're digging their heels in. And you're not able to fulfill and attain your full potential. You may be insulating yourself, okay, from someone, this is number four, that doesn't respect your boundaries. And you actually put the fat on as a form of protection. Okay, is there someone in your life that's scaring you, literally? Or is there an idea or a thought that scares you, right? Maybe you think that if you are thin, that you will, it sounds extreme, but people have thought this, that if you are thin, then you open yourself up to men and you could get raped, okay? That you'd be more attractive. So you won't let yourself let go of that weight because it's protecting you. Okay? And there can be all sorts of other reasons, right? But if you ask yourself this question, you'll find your aspect of it, that you may be using that fat as a form of protection. Are you shrinking yourself on the inside, okay, to avoid upsetting somebody in your life who feels threatened or in competition with you? So in order to maintain the status quo within that relationship, you have to keep yourself small. So you're shrinking on the inside, but your body on the outside is screaming out, through growing fat, that how big you really are. right? On the inside, how much potential that you have. Number 6, okay, you're using the weight as an excuse to wait. Okay, so what are you putting off? What are you telling yourself that you won't do until the weight is lifted, that you've released it? Okay. Sometimes this is an excuse that we use to stop ourselves from doing what we really want because we're afraid. We're afraid to step out. Okay. And number 7, you're carrying unhealed and unresolved emotional baggage and trauma that drains your energy and weighs you down. Okay, so we all have this. Let's face it, you don't have to be overweight to have this. Traumas, emotional baggage, things unhealed, unsaid, okay, limited belief systems that are holding you back from basically being able to overcome the environment that you're living in right now and change your life. Okay. So why don't we change once we become aware of this? Okay, so here's the thing. You may do this journal exercise and go, wow, I have so much insight about why I have this physical weight. Okay, these are the 7 things that you can let go of in your life that will allow you to lose weight without diet or exercise. But insight is only one thing. You have to actually take those chronic stressors and face them head on and change them in order to actually get the transformation. Okay, so what's going to come up when you start looking at these individual things and you ask yourself, okay, if I can change this, what's going to come up are a lot of excuses. They're going to be around the environment, okay, that you live in. So it's going to be, you're going to blame it on other people, the place that you live, certain things in your life. You might blame it on your body. So it could be the moods that you have, pain that you feel in your body, a lack of energy, okay? Or it can be about time. So you'll have excuses from fear from the past that you don't want to experience the same pain or failure or something like that. Or it's like a fear of the future or a total state of feeling a lack in your life that you don't have enough time. Okay. So these are the things that typically will come up, and it'll keep you, when you're thinking like that, you're not able to actually change anything. Okay. So insight is not worth that much actually. Until you actually are able to transform that insight into an opportunity, okay, in your life to better yourself, right? All of our challenges have lessons in them. So we have to change our internal environment to change our external environment, because you could see that all of those excuses that you come up that have to do with your external environment are actually really real, right? They're tangible. You can feel them. You're living them every single day. So it feels like it's impossible to get out of your situation. But the actual changes come from the inner work that you do. Okay, so it starts with telling yourself the truth about what your real problems are. So answering those 7 questions can help you to access what the real problems are so that you can access the solutions at the root cause rather than, Band-Aid solutions. Okay, which, for example, something like time management would be, or stress management. Okay. I'll talk about this more in a sec, but we don't want to manage these things. We want to actually transform them. We don't want to settle for management. Okay. So now when you're in a high state of stress, when you have this high cortisol, okay, this chronic high cortisol that's causing you to hold on to this fat, you are not actually able to have answers. You will not be able to go inside and find those answers, and you won't find them anywhere else. No new ideas will come in. The reason why is actually because of your physiology. When you're in a high state of stress, you're in what's called a high beta brain frequency. And in that frequency, the only thing you can see is what's wrong with your life, because you're in fight or flight and you don't see any solutions. So if you just keep kind of trying to manage that and keep going forward and just cleaning up the messes in your life as they happen and live reactively, then you're not going to be able to actually come to any solutions. You're going to stay in that state chronically. Okay, so what you actually have to do is get out of, you have to actually go into your, change your physiology to change your mind and to actually open your mind to more possibilities. So you have to get out of that high beta frequency into, you actually move through the brain waves. Right now, if you're just in a normal state of consciousness and you're not highly stressed, you're just going to be in a regular beta brain state, which is good. It's like a intellectual kind of space where you can learn, right? but to actually go inside and actually find new answers and have answers like literally pop into your life out of nowhere, and to like open up to new solutions, you have to go into the alpha or theta brain state. Okay, these are much more relaxed states of mind and allow you to connect and allow you to feel like you can actually do different things than you're doing right now. Okay, so basically what we do in the Weightless program is we use contemplative meditation to do this. We literally go in, and instead of meditating and trying to like, you know, use it as management of stress, just with our breath and becoming calm, we're not just trying to do that. We're kind of trying to go deeper than that and actually like look at the truth of who we're being and change it. Okay. So you have to actually get into a different brain state. Once you do that, the answers come. You can get into alpha through progressive relaxation. Okay. So that's like systematically, like connecting to different parts of your body, starting at your toes. This is just one way of doing it. And being conscious of like the tip of your toe, and then your toenail, and then your toe knuckle. Okay. And literally getting into that state of relaxation so that now you've moved into a more open state, a brain state that'll allow you to come up with new answers than you've ever had before. Okay. Creative projects, pleasure projects, things like that can also get you into that state. Then you want to go deeper so that you can create a new reality. So you have to create your reality from the inside out. How do we know you can do this, or you have to do it this way? Is because you know all those other excuses that you had from the external environment are going to keep you stuck, and it never works to try to change something on the outside, because everything that is happening on the inside is what's actually creating your life. Okay, so you go from your beta brain, high beta brain states, that's stress, down into alpha, then down into theta, where you actually consciously co-create your reality. Okay, in that state, you're going to actually have access to new answers than you've ever had before. Okay, you are going to be able to, in that state, create your outer world by what you hold in mind and how you feel and who you're being on the inside. Now, of course, in the context of this, I cannot go into this in great detail, but that is where all the shifts actually happen. That's where you consciously create your reality, rather than running on that high beta brain frequency automatic pilot that is continually recreating the same drama in your life over and over again. You have to consciously do this. You have to stop what you're doing in life, get into these frequencies, brainwave frequencies, and then from there, use your mind in a conscious way, rather than letting it create you on autopilot from all the subconscious programming and all this garbage that you've collected from the past and all this emotional baggage. You're going to get into that state and you're going to consciously use it to create the way you are capable of. And you don't necessarily know that because you weren't taught. I know I certainly wasn't taught that my imagination creates reality. Okay, but that can sum it up. Okay, so what we want to do is actually go beyond stress management and face these chronic issues in our life fiercely. Okay, so one of the things is that people actually, the reason that you have chronic stress in your life is because you've been avoiding some sort of acute stress. Okay, so there's some sort of acute stress that you have been avoiding in your life because you don't want to feel intense pain, suffering, or stress in this current moment. Okay, you are actually suppressing it and you're putting it into chronic stress. Because chronic stress is not as scary in the moment. But it's so much more depleting over time. But facing our acute stresses in life is actually what allows us to overcome challenges and change our life, right? So you want to actually look at what is it that you're not doing right now that would be an acute stress that would actually eliminate that chronic stress that you've identified with those 7 questions. Okay, so one of the things you have to understand is that your primal brain, as far as it's concerned, is it believes that if you're under any kind of chronic stress in your life, that it must be famine or it must be winter. And that means you have to actually hold on to fat to protect yourself, right? Whereas if you're in a state of acute stress, your primal brain thinks that you're being chased by a lion or something, or a tiger. And it's actually programmed to turn on fat burning programs in your body as you face acute stresses in your life. So the truth is the answer to shifting this, to using your weight loss journey as a catalyst for transformation, is to actually right now systematically face head on every acute stress that you would need to face in order to eliminate the chronic stress. So can you imagine on two fronts how you would be helping yourself lose weight, right? You would be literally stopping the chronic stress by choosing acute stress and facing things. And you would also just be changing your life. You would have an absolutely new life and not be carrying these stresses with you. That's the transformational part of it. And it's also physiologically turning on your fat burning programs in your brain, because your brain is like acute stress, right? This is intensely scary. So let's let go of weight. This is why you hear of people who they heard about some stress in their life once and you saw them and they lost 20 pounds in a month. That's how. It's also how you can gain 20 pounds in a month, right? Is turn something that should have been an acute stress in it, you should have dealt with it, becomes a chronic stress, and then added on to chronic stress and added on to chronic stress. And your body goes into that primal space of believing that you are needing to put that fat on to protect you. Okay, so you want to think about, as an entrepreneur, where are you right now with your business? Are you in protection mode? Okay, and just trying to deal with things that are coming up and dealing with the chronic stresses by just trying to manage them rather than dealing with them head on? Are you in growth mode? Okay, growth mode is the mode where we actually rebuild and become healthier, but it actually it's scary. It's scary to do the things that'll actually grow you, right? It's the acute stress. So you actually get to have a better life when you face all this stuff. You get to have a better business and you get to lose weight at the same time. Okay, so this is the kind of work that we do in the Weightless program. And I want to leave you with two questions. Okay, so the first question is, what kind of acute stress will you commit to facing to improving your well-being and your life, right? Literally, if you just picked one thing from the awareness that you get from asking these questions in your journal and facing one thing, that one thing could literally change your life and give you the confidence to systematically eliminate every single one of those things, okay? It's ideal to pick the thing that would make the biggest difference across the board in your life. Now, the other side of it is to ask yourself if this is something that you want to utilize as a catalyst to change your life, your business, and your weight. Let go of your weight so you can actually, step into your work, not just lighter emotionally, but having eliminated beliefs that are holding you back, and also the physical weight that might be making you feel incongruent with your work, right? Because as coaches, one of the things that we are is role models, right? We're role models for our clients. And when you're feeling incongruent with what you're doing because you're not feeling like you're taking care of your own self, then it's going to cause you to also, it's another weight of holding yourself back in some way. Okay, so the question I want to leave you with is, when you go inside and you feel into that, does that resonate with you? And do you want the support to help you to systematically, continuously do this work and check everything off the list that you've created of things that are chronic in your life that you want to face head on and eliminate? Okay. If you said yes to that, I invite you to message me here on Facebook so that we can get on a call and chat about whether or not the Weightless program is for you. Okay, because that's what we do in the Weightless program. We do the diet, we do the detox, we do the lifestyle, of course, but we also do 6 months of coaching and accountability to be able to eliminate the stresses from your life and eliminate the ceiling of the belief systems that you have in mind that are holding you back from being who you really could be. And, basically acting to your capacity in life and being visible, right? I mean, there's multiple reasons for why we're not visible in our business. Sometimes it's just the physical weight, it feels like, but actually there's emotional stuff underneath that. You know, there's a lot of people who are not overweight and they also don't want to be visible. Okay. But you can use this, like I said, as a journey, lose the weight and actually go into all that other stuff that's keeping you back in your business. Okay. So the Weightless Program, the people that are in that program are either entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs. So you're going to be surrounded by, you know, your tribe and other women who are committed to taking their weight loss to the next level and using it as a transformative process to literally change their life in the process. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me in this live stream. And I definitely went over my 20-minute time, but I'm really happy that I did this today because I could serve you. And now I know where I need to cut this talk down a little bit. So if you were at the beginning of this live stream, you may have missed it. I mentioned that this is a talk that this to me was a practice run to see if I could cover this much content in 20 minutes because I'm doing a live talk tomorrow and I only have 20 minutes and I'm so not used to doing a short talk. So this was my attempt to do a 20-minute live stream. However, I am so grateful that I was able to serve you. And please feel free to message me if you feel like the Weightless Program might be your next step on the journey to losing more than just the weight. Bye for now.